Hello, greetings and welcome, my dear viewers and listeners. We are back with your homebrews. In fact, we have only 10 positions left, so I think I will make this a slightly longer video with 5 positions and finish up the series with the 4th episode, and that will be the end of your homebrew series. So don't send more entries. The series is coming to an end. At least for now. I might go with Gimme Your Homebrews 2 Electric Boogaloo at a later date, when our numbers grow enough for it to be noticeable. On that note, I reached over 500 subscribers. Thank you for that. I have no idea why would you subscribe to this channel, and I assume you will regret this decision, but for now at least, you have my deepest thanks. But truth be told, signs that I grow in size are more and more frequent. Solo React Talk reacted to my video. You know you are getting big when you get a reaction video. I watch Solo React Talk from time to time for a while now. He has good constructive commentary in his reactions. He takes notes, makes constructive criticism, asks questions. I like that. It's not just empty reaction with nothing to add to the experience. I really enjoyed his reaction to my video. Check him out, link in the description. Another nice thing that happened was that I received fan art from Hayden Lumpkin, which you can see now. Strong 90s vibe, vibrant colors, a lot of species of ecologian present. It's really damn cool, and it brings me joy seeing something like this. Additionally, he told me that he didn't draw anything for 2 years. He created this with a 2-year gap. I fear what he could do when he drew regularly. I tip my hat to you, Hayden Lupkin, for this glorious contribution. I swear I'm getting fan art, reaction videos. Now the only thing left is to have first position on Rule 34. You know, you became truly famous when you got at least one position on Rule 34. Now, I'm not saying any of you should make a Rule 34 art of me or parts of my project. I'm just stating a fact. Okay, now a little announcement. Damocles Golf Crusade Rewrite will go on a little pause. I have other things to do. Expect lack of big videos for a time. I really need to take care of a few things. I also want to record a video about me shitting on ATTE from Star Wars. The script is ready, I just need to record it and put the video together. So wait for this as well. So, with all that mumbling out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video and look into the first homebrew on the list. The Great Drum by Omegon Butt Trans. Good lord, what a name! But his creation is really cool. In fact, he even created his own sketch of them, so a nice addition to the AI art I will be showing as well. So, the Great Drum is a religious organization dedicated to the worship of the goddess Tauva, functioning as charity, missionary, and military organization. The Great Drum is one of the biggest organizations that spread religious interpretation of a greater good in coalition space. Its roots are in the early days of Ostensi Council, where Zoroast preachers were spreading the faith of a two-faced god among neighboring species. After joining the coalition, they rebranded to now spread the word of goddess Tauva. Their symbol, the drum, symbolizes the powerful message of their faith that, like the beating of a drum, shall be heard far and wide. Its members live simple, often austere lives. They have dedicated their entire life to the greater good, and are expected to submit to the needs of the whole, including to sacrifice themselves for the sake of others. Older members undergo extensive cybernetic augmentation to extend their lifespan so that they may serve as long as possible. Not doing so is seen as incredibly selfish, a way to escape your service to the goddess. In many ways, it's a reflection of Zoroast's culture as a whole, as this species requires cybernetics to survive for longer than a few decades. This requirement was adopted as part of religious tradition by other species who followed Zoroast's teachings. One of the central tenets of a faith is the concept of expedient means. It means that the message of a greater good must be taught to newly contacted populations in a way they can comprehend and is appealing to them in order to ease their integration into the fold of a coalition. The Great Drum's members will study how they think, their beliefs, philosophies, customs, imagery, and so forth, and will create a new version of the faith that incorporates native concepts, iconography, rituals, and sometimes even spirits and deities they will claim are just Tauva under a different name, or lesser deities that serve her. This, of course, can only occur if those faiths and traditions are compatible with the core tenets of a greater good. If they are not, the Great Drum might employ more direct ways of conversion on mass scale and put much work into eradication of previously held beliefs, for the sake of spreading the good word of Tauva. For this reason, the theologians of the Great Drum are excellent exegetes and xenologians. Others may see them as opportunistic, but the Great Drum believes that Tauva only cares that her message be heard and understood. Even non-theistic interpretations of a greater good are thus seen as legitimate, though people from secular cultures like Tao and Naschu tend to see the Great Drum with mixed feelings due to their "it's okay if you don't get it yet, Tauva still loves you" attitude towards them. This can lead to some tensions, but overall, both secular and spiritual interpretation of a Tauva coexists side by side. Deities and ideologies that are considered incompatible with the greater good are branded as Ma-Ra, wicked. They especially warn of 6 great Maras. Prat Heg A Mara. Ideologies and deities centered around fighting and violence just for the sake of it. Rak A Mara. Those centered around excess of any kind and seeking of perfection. Shalya Mara represents lying, deceit, and opportunism. Zanya Mara representing fatalism and stagnation. Mana Mara chauvinism that denies others any worth or promotes xenophobia. Vemishya Mara polarization, divisiveness, and tearing down of a system just for the sake of anarchy. The Great Drum is divided into subgroups called vehicles. Each vehicle possesses its own charity, small fleet, and armed formation. Each adheres to one of the major versions of a faith. A vehicle is governed by an assembly comprised of its most senior and distinguished members. Above all stands the Great Assembly, made up of the Warfi, representatives elected by the assemblies of all vehicles and presided over by the Wisdom King or Queen, the head of a Great Drum, elected by the Warfi from their number. The Wisdom King or Queen resides in the Celestial Grace Monastery, the Great Drum's headquarters on Osti, while vehicles may be based on celestial bodies, space stations, or even capital ships within or even outside the Coalition space. While members of most species can be found among the ranks, the highest echelons of a leadership are traditionally made up mostly of Zoats and other species of the Old Ostensi Council. When the Coalition decides the religious interpretation of a Tauva is the best option for integration, they send for the Great Drum. The Great Drum will first commence charitable activities on the planet to gain trust and study their culture and worldview, while its militants protect those involved in those activities and assist the local coalition military forces. Sometimes when a new form of Tauva worship gains enough followers, a new vehicle dedicated to this form will be formed. The militants, the Dharm Apala, are usually assigned to defense and security operations, but their cadres are occasionally part of offensive operations as well. They are easily recognizable for the robes and headscarves they wear above their combat armor, as well as prayer beads, prayer flags, and other devotional objects they adorn themselves with. The strategies they employ may vary depending on the vehicle's culture and teachings. A vehicle stemming from a highly martial culture may often engage in close combat, while others may prefer mechanized forces, guerrilla tactics, etc. They usually won't commit more violence than needed to subdue the foe, as excessive cruelty may give a Great Drum a bad reputation, thus hindering their missionary work. Should the enemy force prove to be too corrupted by one of the Maras, or belong to a species incapable of integration with the greater good, however, they will drop those concerns immediately and annihilate them with cold zeal and precision. They don't like doing so, but they don't regret it either. The coalition tries to avoid such outcomes. So does the Great Drum. Sometimes, however, such actions are necessary for the sake of a greater good. In fact, they are doing the enemy a favor, setting a lost soul free from a life spent in darkness and ignorance can be considered an act of compassion after all. And Tauva is a merciful goddess indeed. A sizable entry, but a really good one. Adds flavor to the religion of Tauva and makes it quite nice for future installments. This is the kind of entry that I can easily adapt to the story and use it in the future. Now, creation from the artist who sent me the fanart you saw at the start of the video. Hayden Lumpkin 2822. Normheim Raidmen. A light shock infantry and cold environment specialists. Coming from the world of Normheim, that is, industrializing feudal world. It was once a backwater world only known for its lumber production and half-year-long winters, till the 12th Black Crusade, in which many worlds were raised to meet industrial production demands. They are equipped with a late World War I French-style uniform with fur collars and Norse spectacle helmets, all adopted for winter and heat preservation. However, overall they are ill-equipped regiment by 40k standards. They make up for it with their ferocity. As for weaponry, they use M36 pattern lasgun and high-pressure stab guns that are one of the few weapons their world can produce. They are also equipped with hand axes that are echo of lumber traditions of their world. Most unique part of their equipment is BZR-KR stem, known also as Berserk's Blood. This stem, created from local plants and animals, breaks connection with pain receptors in the guardsman's body, boosts strength, speed, and causes a berserk-like rage. Usage of this stem is closely monitored by the commissars, who are quick to execute unredeemable addicts. And while dangerous, this drug gives the Raidmen a temporary strength and fury of an orc. Normheim Raidmen lack any dedicated armored assets. They are, however, known to possess a good number of looted vehicles that are kept working for as long as possible. Overall, this regiment moves on foot, as they did on their homeworld. The Raidmen are recruited from men from warbands and clans of their world. Recruits are intentionally put into mixed units to force them to cooperate. From time to time, some old grudges need to be settled, and they are either by a duel overseen by a regiment officer corps or by commissar's bolt. Additional information. It is noted that at least once a blood grudge erupted between two squads. Reports say of a single commissar who personally beat all 20 men by himself with his bare hands. After doing so, he declared that their lives are to be given in service to the All-Father and All-Father alone, and all who would die in some grudge would be damned. No other internal fighting was recorded within this regiment. Raidmen respect strength above all. They are brash, but are loyal to those who proven themselves. It is noted that Raidmen have especially high respect for commissars who adopt even a bit of their culture and lead by example. Normheim Raidmen are one of the few regiments where executions for cowardice are a rarity, as they see death in combat as a way to be welcomed to the great golden hall and join the feast by the side of the All-Father, the Emperor of mankind. This is reflected in their war cry: "Skull to war, skull to death, skull to the fallen." Raidmen are known to collect trophies from battlefields. Those are inspected by commissariat and ecclesiarchy preachers, ensuring that all are sanctified and don't carry taint of corruption. It is noted that at least one regiment fell to damnation because unsanctioned trophies were held by few guardsmen. The regiment has strong belief that unaugmented physical human form and violence is a true expression of faith in the All-Father, showing the superiority of a human form to which mutant, xenos, and heretic is true mark of faith. The regiment partakes also in psychedelic drugs, through which they believe they can reach a communion with the Emperor and hear his voice, guiding them to victory. It is noted that Normheim regiments almost always have at least one shaman or a holy man who seems to have ability to predict future, be it psychic power or actual communion with the Emperor isn't set in stone. Despite their rough nature, the regiment is well received by allies and civilian population. Their dedication to physical strength is inspiring, and the Raidmen are quick to compliment strength and accomplishments of others. They are known to make friends with many of Imperial forces, which saved them from total destruction more than once. Words of Major Voss Krieger of 15th Steel Legion Regiment are a good example of it. 4th Normheim Raidmen Regiment was cut off by Orc forces on Nazarene 5. One messenger managed to reach the Imperial lines and deliver the request for reinforcements. Hearing that the 4th still stands, Major said, "They're a bunch of crazy bastards, but they are our bunch of crazy bastards. The 15th will answer the call. Ready the tanks." Members of the Inquisition have their suspicion regarding drugs they use, but as of now, no move was made against them. I really like this one, and it's another nice creation from Hayden Lumpkin. A Viking regiment. I am tempted to see them cooperating with Space Wolves. Now that would be one hell of a sight. Now let's get to the next fun creation. The Old Cog by Martin Concetti. The Old Cog is a subfaction of a cult of Cog. To those who don't know, Coalition found survivors of Imperial colony in Keshi cluster, which included members of Adeptus Mechanicus, who over the millennia transformed into the cult of Cog. The Old Cog is a subfaction of those survivors, specializing in preservation and protection of knowledge. They deal with machine spirits and other esoteric threats to the machines. After being stranded in Keshi Cluster, they broke off from the rest of the Imperial survivors, scavenging ancient technology and even stealing it from their old allies, helping reactivate and maintain small fleet of sublight vessels that were essential in keeping worlds of a cluster connected. During their travels, they encountered few decrepit men of iron, locally known as skeletons. Those ancient machines were semi-sentient and twisted by time and data viruses that made them into loners that didn't bother majority of cluster's population. The cult of Cog, using cans, managed to placate a very small number of them, gaining new knowledge and appreciation for those lost artifacts of bygone age. The study of the skeletons grew the understanding of machine spirits and abominable intelligence. It was from there that the cult of Old Cog was born. The members are obsessed in discovering true reason behind rebellion of Men of Iron, as well to find a solution to that problem. A way for a machine and man to coexist. After Keshi Cluster was secured by the Coalition, the cult of Cog willingly joined this bizarre alliance of Xenos, Abhumans, mutants, and ancient human tribes. Unlike most of the cult of Cog, the Old Cog subfaction reached out to get contact with multiple human and Abhuman civilizations that were part of the Coalition, which included original Guevesa from Zeno, the Mekian Commonwealth, and forgotten Night World of Divitera. The Night World of Divitera was of special interest. In exchange for their knowledge and reactivations of those ancient machines, the Old Cog asked for patronage. Both Divitera and many other human and Abhuman civilizations agreed, accepting the help of this bizarre machine cult. In modern age, Old Cog is mostly nomadic organization, traveling through the Coalition space and outside of it, studying technology and mystic nature of machine spirits. They have multiple monasteries throughout the Coalition, accepting candidates from many species, though humans and Abhumans still take significant majority of their population. Although they are seen as half insane, their expertise is respected. They are especially talented in dealing with ancient viruses and technological heresies that could lead to madness or damnation, as it happened to former ally of the Coalition, the Sitorians. The cult is currently focused on finding a way to ensure that AI used by the Coalition won't race against them in rebellion, as did the Men of Iron during the Dark Age of Technology. So, here we have a techno-heretical cult from Imperium's and Mechanicus' point of view, but also a nice way of showing how a cult Mechanicus could evolve if it interacted with other civilizations. Let's finish with two creations of Engineer TV 9305. Slavian Warborn. I decided to change the name from Slavian Spetsnazborn because Spetsnaz implies that entire regiment is special forces, so a little change there. They are recruited from military caste, breeding programs, or they are that grown. Those guardsmen exist for one purpose and one purpose only: to serve their homeworld and wage war in the name of the Emperor. They come from a hive world of Slavia, which is rich enough to create a specially designated elite force of a guard for the sake of recognition and fame among the stars. The nobility of a hive prides itself on training their soldiers from birth to reach or even outmatch the famous world of Cadia. They usually operate as mechanized shock infantry that specialize in urban warfare, but have experience dealing with hostile environment outside of the hives as well. Their elites, known as Spetsnaz, are masters at guerrilla warfare and anti-terrorist operations. Units of Spetsnaz were known to be requisitioned by inquisitorial forces in more than one occasion. They are well-equipped regiments with night vision visors, gas mask, and even augmentations among the officer class and the elites in the Spetsnaz. Their war cry is "From the mother's cradle to the warrior's grave." Because of Slavian rigorous training, Warborn have little need for commissariat of ecclesiarchy to keep them in check. Their zeal and loyalty can be only matched by grim troopers of Krieg, at whom Warborn look down in disgust. After all, Slavia remained loyal through millennia. Krieg didn't. The regiments from Slavia are known to have obsession with logistics and have multiple combat animals in their ranks, which is the only eccentricity allowed by their commanders. The regiment, while respected for their skill and revered by the populace, isn't much liked by other regiments, mostly due to their aura of superiority and confidence that they, and only they, deserve to lead the charge or any given operation. Despite their outward appearance, the Slavian Warborn carry few dark secrets. Though it is not commonly known, Inquisitors of Ordo Xenos used them more than once when cooperating with Xenos forces against a common foe. The fact that this elite force ever cooperated with Xenos and hold even some begrudging respect for them would shame the entire world. Which is why none by the highest echelons of Slavian society know of this fact. No Slavian Warborn would ever speak of this openly, both out of shame and fear of Ordo Xenos that would be quick to punish them from spreading the knowledge that any cooperation between the Imperium and Xenos exists. Another neat regiment to add to the list. Some changes here and there, but overall I think they are a nice addition. Now, the second creation. Crusading Clan of most noble duty. It's a bizarre military organization of Lechian nobility, the same world from which Lechian royal Las Lokiers come from, and alongside which they tend to serve. Although technically not part of the Imperial Guard, they cooperate and serve with Astra Militarum. They are elite cavalry unit composed of nobility or rich members of society that joined a militant order of knights, which origins reach time before Lechia was part of the Imperium and it was just a feudal world. This crusading clan continues the traditions of chivalry, humility, and righteousness, doing their best to become paragons and symbols for their people. They are equipped with handmade weaponry and ride into battle on cybernetic griffin, native to Lechia. Those beasts are captured, trained, and augmented to act as mounts for the noble knights of Lechia. They follow their own knight code, which promotes image of paragon and faithful knight of the emperor, a warrior that inspires others to accomplish even greater deeds. Their war cry is, "In the emperor's name, we ride to war." Their symbol is a solar knight, who some believe to be image of the emperor himself. This bizarre, yet small in number military force is looked on with mixed of confusion and awe, as this force isn't technically part of any military organization in the Imperium and is semi-independent, yet is happy to offer their services to anyone who asks. Lechian Laszlo have deep respect for the knights of a Crusading order. It is noted that they fight with even greater determination when both forces serve side by side. So, a little thing that I think most of us can appreciate. A visible nod to Warhammer Fantasy with Griffin Cavalry, but in Warhammer 40k universe. A nice addition indeed. But I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, the whole shtick. You know what to do. Now, my dear viewers and listeners, remember, wherever you are, whatever you do, try to enjoy yourself while you can. I wish you most critical day. Ta-ta!